If you want to transfer your career into the UX design industry, or if you just find your first UX design role, then this video is made for you. Hey everyone, I'm Aliena, and in today's video, I will talk about things that you can do to rock at your work during your first month. There are only 3 categories of things that we need to do, and that is understanding the product, the process, and people. Let's start from the product. Of course, we need to understand what is this product about, what I'm going to design. And besides just trying to use the product, understanding the product also means understanding the user of the product, how they are using the product, and what are the acronyms of the things within the product. How do you call this? How do you call that? So let me give you a full list of my tips. My first tip for you to understand your product better is to watch YouTube videos about your product. Because by watching YouTube videos, you not only can see how the product looks, but you can also see how different users are interacting with your products. So pretty much just by watching a few videos, you'll find out what needs to be improved. And my next tip is for you to try out the product. But remember, it's not always the case that you can try out the product. For example, I'm working at eBay, and for me to try out the product that I'm working on, I need to become an eBay seller, and then I need to have a lot of inventories. But in the first month, we probably don't have time to do all those. So my tip for you is to ask the engineers for a QA website or a QA demo. QA might stand for quality assurance, I'm not exactly sure, but usually there's like a demo website where your engineer provides you a demo account and a demo password so that you can directly interact with your product without going through all the other process. My next tip for you is to have a document or a spreadsheet and note down every single name that's related to your product. When I say name, I especially mean acronym for each page, and then the element name for each element. Your company might call certain things, this page is a landing page, this page is a forking page, this element, we call it a shell. Different companies call different elements by different names, so note down those names are very important. And also, if your company has multiple versions of the design system, you also need to note down what are the names of those design systems. For example, your newest design system that haven't even been implemented might call diamond. The previous one might call gold, and you need to understand what is what. My next tip is to get the Figma file and make a copy of that Figma file so that you can interact with the Figma file, play around with it. Now, I've never seen a Figma file that's just perfectly designed, because it's likely that if your company hires you, you're being hired to solve some design problem. You might be taking over somebody else's designs file that are halfway done and then see something that's just very chaotic. So once you see different components, right click on it and then select go to main component to see where are the main components, where are the subcomponents. It's not easy to see just by looking at it. And if there's documentation in different pages, then great, read through those documentations. And if not, then that leads to my next tip, that is asking your manager or relative stakeholders to understand the history of the project that you will be working on. When I say history, I mean asking them, how long have you been working on this project? What leads to the starting of this project? And why is it taking so long? And what have you guys tried? What have failed and why are they failed? What are certain constraints, especially legal constraints, engineering constraints that I need to work within? Because everyone who's new to a job is usually more exciting than all the other people. We might be coming to this work and then be like, okay, I can make this better, without understanding the full history. Then it's likely for newcomers to make the exact same design mistakes that the old designer has already made. So please understand the history before going into the design. The next category of things is process. Process on a higher level just means how to start a project, how to carry on a project, and how to end a project. Believe me, it's so important to understand the right way and the wrong way of starting a project, because many designers are chased by PMs and are thrown with 1,000 things that we need to do, and that is not a good process. Let's go back a little bit and start with the easy ones. My first tip is to understand what is going on with each meeting. So look into your calendar and you will see some repeating meetings. Just look into the description of the meeting and that will tell you a lot. And of course, participate in the meeting and see what are people actually doing in this meeting, because those descriptions might be outdated for 2 years. You don't know. And my second tip is to get access to the tools that you'll be using: design tool, communication tool, and management tool. Understand whether there's any template, whether there's any pattern, when to use what tool, and how are people using these tools. For example, for Figma, your team might have already created a template for you to use that includes a thumbnail template, some documentation template, and other templates. I don't know. Oh, also, if you want to see how to organize a Figma file and well document in a Figma file, check out this video. And for management tool, your team might be using Monday.com or Asana to document your work. Understand how to well document your work so that different stakeholders can clearly see why you are making certain design iterations, and so that leadership can see your work. Then ask your PMs and managers about what is this process about, how to start a project, what has happened to you before, how to collaborate, what is the best way to collaborate, and how to work with engineers, and also ask the engineers how to work with the engineers. And this will lead to the people part, because this part of the process, we really need to understand it by experiencing it. And I'm aware that I have a diverse group of audience, so please think about the culture that you're working in before taking all my advice. And for me, I think the most important thing when it comes to people is to understand them generally as a person. And that includes understanding their contact, their strengths and weaknesses. Because once you understand their contact, strengths, and weaknesses, you can pair your strengths with their weaknesses, pair their strengths with your weaknesses, and then make a great combo. So some specific tips for you to do is in the first month, set up one-on-one meetings with people you'll be collaborating with. Don't wait for them to set up meeting with you. I think it's better to set up meetings as early as possible, especially for the ones you will be collaborating closely with. You don't want to be going to the same meeting with one person for 10 times, but still don't understand anything about them. And for me, I also think it's better to be genuine and humble than to be, lying. So if you don't have a lot of years of experience in UX design, there's no need to lie and say that I have many years of experience. Just say your background is in blah, 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 and looking forward to learn more from you. And when it comes to people, another thing to look out for is to understand this person's pace. For example, for designers, there will be a group of designers that has faster pace, but don't really think it through before making any action, just like me. And there can be other designers that has slower pace, but really think it through and think through the long-term strategy before making any changes on the Figma file. So understand what you are and pair yourself with the right person that can cover your weaknesses and benefit from your strength. So please just take your time. And as a summary, 99% of things that you need to understand in the first month belongs to 3 categories: product, process, and people. You can start from the one that you are good at and branch that knowledge to the other 2. In most cases, your company is not expecting you to do any great work or productive work in the first month, other than just understanding the culture, the people, and try to sit through meetings and listen. The best thing you can do is to learn. Take good notes are always helpful, and creating genuine relationship and understanding of people are always helpful. And think from your user's perspective, and helping your user are always helpful. I hope you learned something from today's video. If you find this video helpful and want to see the part 2, as always, comment a victory sign emoji in the comment section below, or simply comment what you want to see from my next video in the comment section below. I would love to hear your feedback. My new Instagram account is at @thealianacai. Please follow me there as well. Thank you so much, and see you next time.